Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Tom Reads Things. My name is Tom. I hope you're all very well. So today what I thought I would do is talk to you about some of the books that I have in my collection, which I'm going to be donating to the library that we have at work. I'm very lucky. We've got a kind of library at work where you can take in books that you no longer want. And donate them to the library, and then also at the same time you can pick up books and take them home for free that have been donated by other people. You don't have to pay for this, there's no kind of membership, it's just to kind of take some books along, drop them off and pick some up at the same time that you fancy. I haven't actually got any books from the library there yet, but once I've got through my massive TBR, I will have a look to see if there's anything in there which catches my eye. So I've got 5 books that I'm going to talk about today, which I'm going to be donating. So let's start with the first one, shall we? And it's actually one of my favourites, and it is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. So I'm sure you all know the story of The Picture of Dorian Gray, but for those of you who don't, it focuses around a young kind of socialite gentleman, if you like, in the Victorian age in Victorian London, and his friend paints a picture of him, and he sees the beauty in this picture, and he thinks to himself, God, if I could just, just remain this way, looking as kind of fantastic as I do in this picture all my life, that would be great. And he makes this kind of deal, and the picture starts to grow old, whereas he doesn't. And the picture not only grows old physically, but kind of takes on all of the flaws that he starts displaying throughout his life as the arrogance of his kind of beauty takes control of him. So this is one of my favourite books, but I am giving this one to the library because I have another edition of this book, which is a gorgeous edition. Let me just get it for you. Hold there, please. Sorry, I'm back. So I've got this edition, which is a gorgeous edition by... no idea, absolutely no idea what the publisher is of this, but this is a really nice edition of this book. My sister Emily got this for me 1 or 2 Christmases ago, and I have read this edition again as this one, but yeah, look how nice that is. It's such a nice edition, really nice. Look at the words, cover, wonderful. So yes, this is The Picture of Dorian Gray, which I'll be donating to the library when I go into work tomorrow. The next book which I will be donating is The Vikings by Jonathan Clements. So I haven't actually read any of this, but I picked it up from a charity shop in Cambridge because I've always been really interested in the Vikings and kind of Northern European history around the kind of 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th century, pagan England, that kind of thing. So I've always been really interested in that, but I haven't really got around to reading it. I've just today downloaded the Audible app, and actually I think this is something that it would be better for me to listen to in the car on the way to work and on the way home from work and things like that. Times when I'm kind of just sitting idly doing nothing, where I can't actually physically be reading. So yeah, I think this will be a better one to read on Audible. I've also just downloaded Mythos, which is written and narrated by Stephen Fry, so I'm really excited to get into that. It'll be my first kind of audiobook. I've never really got into audiobooks before. Anyway, sorry. So the Vikings, yes, I will be donating this to the library. Yeah, I've always been really interested in that kind of period in history. I'm 34 years old, and anyone around my age living in England will have gone, I'm absolutely sure, on a school trip to the Jorvik Viking Centre in York at some point. I'm sure this will evoke many childhood memories for kind of, people in their kind of early 30s around my age, living in England watching this. We all will have gone there on a school trip, and it was brilliant. It was so good. So that's kind of what made me pick this up, my interest in that kind of history. So yeah, this is another one I will be donating. So the next book that we're going to be sending off to the old library is The Princes in the Tower by Alison Weir. So anyone who doesn't know the story of The Princes in the Tower, is kind of a cornerstone of British monarchical, is that even a word? Monarchical, oh, I just made that up. Monarchical, monarchy-ish, monarchyist history. let's go with monarchical. We all know what it means. Monarchical history in England. Anyway, sorry, it tells the story of two princes who were murdered. I believe one of them actually was a king. I don't know. Two young princes that were apparently murdered, and I think Richard III is a kind of prime suspect, who was the prince's uncle. So yeah, it's a really, really, really interesting book. Alison Weir has got lots of other books around this kind of genre that she's brought out, including Henry VIII, King and Court, Mary, Queen of Scots, Eleanor of Aquitaine, which actually we'll be mentioning her a little bit later in this video. Yeah, lots of other ones by Alison Weir along the same kind of vein. So yeah, really, really good book. Do pick this up if you're interested in that kind of period of history at all, or monarchical history of England. Next book I really did not like, and it was such a shame because I bought this when I first started reading again as an adult. As I said in one of my previous videos, I've only really been reading for kind of 2 years, 3. I mean, I have been able to read a lot longer than that, but I've only really got into reading in the kind of last 2 to 3 years. And this was one of the first books that I bought thinking, oh yeah, I've read about it on Amazon. It sounds really, really good. And it was a pile of, it was awful. So basically it is Jonathan Bates' Soul of the Age, Life, Mind and World of William Shakespeare. Now, I really, really like Shakespeare. I love his plays. I think, you know, he is the greatest, one of the greatest writers in history. And I really wanted to learn more about the kind of life and times of this man, and the, you know, the England that he lived in, the Europe that he possibly, or quite didn't possibly explore. And actually all this was the author showing off how much they knew about historical theory in 16th century England, and talking, I don't want to listen to 20 paragraphs about how one household object that we have today used to be called something else in Elizabethan time. It's just so dry, and it felt much more like a very, very focused academic essay rather than an exploration of the life and times of William Shakespeare or Elizabethan England. Did not interest me at all, so I'm gladly giving that to the library. The last one is The Death Maze by Ariana Franklin. Now, this follows the story of one of England's first anatomists. I'm just kind of checking the blurb as I'm talking to you about it. And she is called upon to investigate the death of a lady in the court of Henry II. I believe it was his favourite mistress. And the finger is pointed at Henry II's wife, Eleanor of Aquitaine. And the anatomist's job is to come along and try and, you know, figure out who killed this mistress, and to try and avoid a kind of brewing civil war that's happening in England at that time. So this was really good. I really enjoyed this, but I'm not going to read it again. And actually, I think there's lots of people at my work who would really, really enjoy this. Again, I picked it up from charity shop in Cambridge, so it didn't cost me a huge amount. So yeah, this is the last book that I'm going to be donating to the library. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed having a look at those books. Let me know if you've read any of those before, or let me know if you're going to be reading any of those. Let me know also if you've got a place in your local area the way you can donate books. I think most people have now. My mum in her village, hello mother, has got a little kind of box in the park where they can go and put books in and take them out. It's like a really nice community thing. So yeah, so I will be back in a couple of days. So yeah, I will see you then. Thank you very much. Bye.